All right, so I am going to run this presentation real quick to kind of talk about Woodcliff and the lot and what's been going on and what's next. All right, so first of all, I want to say thank you for everyone being patient. I have been Chill House has gone through a whole lot of shifts, but I have been incredibly busy working, kind of almost refreshing Chill House, to be honest. So before I go into that, I'm gonna go into that while I'm talking about this, as well as kind of like let you know kind of where everything stands and where we're going. Okay. So, all right. So let's kind of get back talking about Woodcliff here. And so Woodcliff finally closed maybe about a week or so ago. And I'm going to go over the whole journey of Woodcliff in this presentation, right? So Woodcliff, as you all know, the plan with Woodcliff is I put $100,000, $105,000 cap on there, but the plan was to have an initial budget of $40,000. Then also we were going to get a cut if we hit over $300,000, right? So the goal and target was always 320. That's what I was going for. And the reason why 320 was the number is I kind of went around here and I focused on the median sales price as well as the average sales price. And so what I was kind of going to is kind of find somewhere safe is kind of what I was juggling, right? So that's where the 320 came from. And so it all based off of renovation costs, right? And so what had happened was the budget straight up, as I told some of the folks I kind of came by to see it and had talked, and some folks that were able to get me, which I definitely apologize. We're going to talk about that as well. Day one of demo, because day one of demo is when we discovered that this little crack was not just a crack. It was not just a leak from the window. It was a leak from the roof. And the reason why we couldn't see because it was only damaged here, but you couldn't see it right here because at the time we didn't have access to the house to break it down, that part down. And so what we discovered is that it was rotted the entire side of the house in between the wood and the vinyl siding. So whoever did it, they put the vinyl siding over the rotted asbestos siding. And because it was asbestos siding, we got jammed up. I had to stop, I had to pull a permit. I had to come out of pocket with that because that wasn't even necessary. That wasn't in the budget. We didn't have that. So what it did was it cost a little bit more money and it cost a little bit more time. But that's not where it kind of stopped, right? So once we were in the house this was day one, right? So we kind of worked on that. We paused like a couple of weeks to kind of get that stuff straight. And then once we kind of getting up underneath the house and kind of tracking other problems down, now that we're in the house, as we were working on the plumbing in the bathroom, we realized that there was gaps and the pressure was off. There was a lot of crazy stuff that was going on. And then we realized that there was a deep leak that was going underneath the house and was even getting backed up. So we had to fix the plumbing from the inside of the house all the way to the street. And that was a battle because I thought we'd kind of go halfway to the street and then get the city to go to the other part, which was their piping, but they did not budge. So we had to do that work. And so while we were under the house, we noticed that there was a beam that was damaged, right? And this beam, we had some rot, right? And so, okay, the plan was to remove that beam and remove that floor joist. And we thought we could sister the floor joist just in a couple of spots. But once we removed this, we went, as we was out of the house, we realized that the house was leaning. Didn't discover that until we moved since we were working on the floor joist. And when the house was leaning, we realized the whole floor was uneven. So now we had to jack the house up, we had to level the house up, and we had to go underneath and replace nearly all of the floor joists. We replaced all but two, right? Major floor joists, major beams. We did everything from left to right, pretty much was replaced. And that's what this looks like. You see it goes all the way through the house, all the way through the house. And that was major work. So this is stuff that when we looked at it, we just saw that one, but once we removed that one, I knew we were going to have to replace that one. We now realized we had to replace all of this, right? And I was like, yo, what am I supposed to do? But my goal was still always 320. If I get to 320, we got to get there because now we got the wall open. Now we have things that we can't even sell it at that price because I have to disclose as best as I have to disclose in these new floor. I have to disclose all these things, which have definitely driven down the number dramatically. So like we end it now, right? And so when I say end it now, I was like, okay, so and now I'm like, since I had those major repairs, like what can I do in the house that's different? So what I did was, and hindsight, maybe I could have left it alone, but my goal was the 320. So original plan was to kind of go through this floor and throw something down, and we nearly finished it. And then because my budget was blown now, so we nearly finished it. So I had to pull some money from somewhere, I had to pull my own money really to kind of make this work. And so we opened it up, and that was pretty much the only selling feature, because the original plan was just to kind of go through, upgrade the floor, put new appliances, and move this fridge to the backside, countertop, new kitchen, stuff like that. Because I thought this is where I could recoup the money, because of the heavy cost. I knew I couldn't add the upgrades and stuff that we wanted to in there. We were stuck. So as you see, we kind of worked really hard at kind of getting that open, and we opened that kitchen up, but we was really almost done. But I had to find a way to recoup the cost, because the stuff under the house was so expensive. And so I spent $5,300 on that wall breaking down to add the value, which I thought would kind of, I'm going for 320. So as you can see, the renovation budget skyrocketed from $40,000 to $79,387 that was due to the contractors. And I was like, this happened immediately, but I'm like, you know what? We're going to get to 320. The market was getting to 320. So as you see, we did major, and all this is on the portal. We did major repairs in there, and it came up to 79.3, which was, $39,000 to $40,000 more than what was expected. And as you can see, it was like certain things. We had the kitchen demo. We did the front porch and in the back. We did all those things that was part of it. The interior cost us $8. So, but there's all these other things that were tied up into it too. All which was factored into the 320 number, but wasn't factored in was the wall and underneath the house. So, have these other expenses like, like this is like electrical work and handyman work. And what I mean by electrical work, we had to upgrade the box, the panel box. We had to do a couple of circuit breakers, so we added more high-end appliances in there. We had a hood, but I went on ahead. We had the electrician install like a microwave hood. We had to rewire certain things from upstairs because we just didn't have the wattage. So that cost a little bit. And that is, you see JAM, that's the electrician. And then Sylvester, he was a guy that kind of helped with the fencing and helped with all this other stuff. He's like a handyman, help with the door, put the doors back on, but we had to get a new screen door. We had to do all these things. We had the screen door was broken. Someone tried to break in the back, so we had to replace that. That's where all that stuff kind of came in. And so, and then we had like the other stuff, right? So we had signs, we had to pay for the pictures. I did get the microwave. I had to have cleaners come in there because the house was filthy twice. And then we had the concrete. So if those who came by see, we concreted the walkway, we concreted the back, and we added the fence. And the reason why we had to add the fence was because we subdivided the lot. And we were in the process of subdividing a lot. So we needed to have a visual representation of where that lot started and stopped for future home buyers. And again, I felt like this had to be done to get to 320. We got to 320, that was a golden, right? Then I had these other service costs that were wrapped into what we were doing. And everyone knows we separated the lot. And so I had to pay for that to make sure that it was done. And, that's what that turned out to be $4,900 and consultant fees to do that lot. And what we got with the consultant fees is we got a rendering for the house. We got the specs for the house that we're going to build. And we just tried to figure all that stuff out, right? Let's see. Okay, so that was the stuff, right? That was $4,900 in fees. And then before we even got started, we spent $1,850 in fees to our lawyers and title work to ensure that the money, everything was protected from the federal government. So we assisted to make sure that Teal was protected and everyone was protected, but that cost us something because we were going back and forth with Weisberg, and that was a special assistant U.S. attorney on this particular deal. So we had to pay a little bit of time for our attorney to do that, but we also wrapped that up into our title fees and stuff anyway. So that's one of the other expenses. And then, so, you know, we kind of look at it all. We had a $105,000 budget that I knew we was safe. This right here, I couldn't, you know, like, how could I find that extra? The only way I can get the extra, get the 320, right? And so then lawn care and maintenance, that's the only other expense we had to keep that going. We was in that house for nearly a year. This is what spent, right? This is what we spent on that house. 80 of it was gone month one. Cost us 80 to get that done. And so the goal was to sell it now, right? So now I'm counting on the realtor to sell it. And so we was like, all right, let's just draw that for a big number to recoup right off grip, right? So, you know, like we tried it before, and then once we got everything, all right, let's pull it back out. Let's try to do, you know, this is when we had the losses around this time. It's like, all right, let's figure this out. And then that didn't work. So it's like, all right, let's just go through with the renovations or repairs. So here we go. Finished the house in April. We put it on, you know, we put it on for 325, no bites until the end of May. And then we kept no bites, nothing. And it was June. So now we dropped it to 315, which I'm still like, all right, 315, it's over 3. And then, you know, the market, if I can get it during the fall, sometimes where I really wanted it sold, but again, didn't get it sold. I'm like, all right, we could get up to 320. We had the showings, we had the viewings, and I'm out hustling, trying to sell it, doing my best. Nothing happened. The market just stopped on us. And then on top of that, owner was getting anxious, you know, money of maintenance every month. And I was just trying to figure out, like, do we put this on the rental market? Like, how do we do it to kind of keep some money coming in? And sure enough, we dropped the price. Number came in. We got to cash off at 285. It's not what I wanted. I felt like we could have done some more things to kind of get to the 320, but we was sitting there. Like, that's 48 days, 76 days, 63 days, and 7. So that's 70. We were there. We were trying to sell that house for 8 months. Every day trying to sell that house for 8 months. There every day. Okay. So in the course of that 8 months, I had 7 open houses. We had 2 realty events. I canvassed. I was going door to door there. I had leading signs all throughout the north side of Richmond, sending people to that house. I was sending emails. I was making phone calls. I was desperate. I'm on the countertop making videos. I'm on the floor making videos. We did drone footage. I did all I could to get people in there. You know, I bought lunch for people. I did all sorts of stuff. I'm in the barbershop selling. I did everything I could to get people in that house, but I could not beat the market. So when the 285 offer came in this date, it was cash. I didn't want it, but Anthony, the owner, was like, "Oh, we got to move on to the next deal. Like, this is not work." The frustration was in there, and I'm like, "Yo, just hold on." But then I didn't know what we done everything. I didn't know what hold on meant. I didn't want the house to go into the winter months because the market already is dipping and interest rates had increased. So I'm like, dang, what am I supposed to do? And so we ended up having to sell for $35,000 less. So you couple that with more, you couple that with the $40,000 more in renovation. That's $75,000 in losses, simply because the market shifted on us, and that hole in the wall and underneath the house, when we placed that one beam, that the house was shifted. We didn't see it, but once that one beam, you could see it clearly that the floor, the house was uneven. So, but like how the market was, it was like, you know, we were kind of stuck with the market. Like, you could see the market, the median sales price dropped 8.5%. right? And then the average sale price is still at 382, but that's still heavy because the median is $50,000. So we were just stuck in that space of like no one's buying, right? No one's buying. And then we see the days on the market is at 23, 24, 25 days. That increased. So we now on the market for 100 days. So we are like on the other side. And it was like, what did people want, right? So I'm gonna go back. It's like, let's see, I think I have it here. This is what they were saying. They don't like the area, right? And the people that were coming to buy were like VCU students, it was small families, it was out of staters. They didn't like that part of North Side. The price is good, the house is great, but we didn't have many amenities in there for them because I ran out of money. So I just tried to sell it the best way I could. And that's what their feedback was, right? So we ended up selling 11% below what we wanted to sell, and the average market downturn was 8.5%. So we were a little bit under the average loss that most people took on that side. So most people take 8% losses. We took 11, and I think the reason why we took 11 is because we had that high expense. We would have did it if I didn't have to do the wall, right? And so I'm not, how do I recoup this? So this is where I'm at now. And so where I'm at now is, and listen, we're gonna talk about this, and everyone, I'm gonna set, I'm gonna, with the email, it's gonna be another date that I'm going to be at the lot. I'm gonna be at the lot on a regular basis because we're getting bids in. I just got to pull it off, right? And I do need support to try to pull this off to kind of get the recoup, because I lost everyone, like I just didn't get the number, right? So what I'm going to do is, everyone's always, still doing a lot. And I also got some other deals brewing that I will bring. I would, if you guys want, I would bring you in and put you on those deals and just keep working, right? Because, like Teal House has shifted to where I do more equity restoration solely, and I do land partnerships, and I form different partnerships. I work with different realtors. I got my builders, I got different contractors, and I had to regroup. This house forced me to regroup. My entire business is different now. It's me, right? So I had to figure out a way to kind of do things differently. And even like, people's like, I'm in and out different places trying to make this work. And, I get calls all the time, get all this other stuff done all the time. I lost the capacity to always be there. So I had to bring other people in, because it turned out to be just me on this stuff, right? So the additional deals are, I'm actively out there trying to secure more lots. We're even working on getting a lot next door to Woodcliff. And I am putting the plea to everyone, like, help, like, I'm going to be way more intentional with how I communicate and how I kind of bring these things to people. And what that means for me is, I'm going to do weekly calls, weekly texts, and I'm going to be way more connected. And like I said, I've accessed additional help. It became too much for me to manage this deal, manage the other deals, and also be in crazy contact. My goal was to make sure that I was trying to get the numbers. I was still hoping until all hope that I could pull out that number. I didn't even know till the house was under contract that it was only 285. And so I'm like, dang. I was like, I missed, like, like that wasn't acceptable. Like, that wasn't an acceptable number. But I'm like, all right, well, I still got the lot. We still did that. And when it comes to the lot, there's a video on here that talks about the status of the lot. And briefly, the status of the lot is being presented to the city council for approval. And what I need you guys to do is come meet me at the lot. I'm gonna do some lives at the lot to kind of talk about how we're gonna recoup everything and just kind of figure it out. Let's figure it out, yo, because it's like the model worked. The house was perfect. I cannot foresee the hiding of the asbestos siding, the rotted asbestos siding that had to be done the proper way. That's why we got jammed up, had to disclose that. So I had to fix it right. Under the house, the plumbing, Work stopped for weeks. It was just like boom, 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 boom. I'm sick to my stomach. I'm still trying to get to the 320 number. I didn't know I couldn't get the 320 number till October. And that's why I'm like, dang, there's no, like we had to fight for that 285. So one of the things I'm going to do is be more accessible. I got other help. I got better contractors. I got a team of realtors. We got developers now. We're working with other housing organizations to maximize our efforts. I've used that calendar. I use this experience to build a team that matches what we're doing, because this was a shit show, right? From the time day 2, I get a big text, a red letter, and I was doing lives telling everyone. I should have been better, like saying, hey, this is what it is. And I'm even having a secretary so people can reach me from the secretary. They got that on too. So it's like day 1 was whack, yo. Like day 1 of demo was whack. Like I couldn't foresee a worse start. And I got a call, got an email with the budget change. The budget's in all red ink. And I was like, yo, is there anything we can do? But there's nothing we can do, because now we have to disclose it's asbestos. We couldn't sell it like that. We had to disclose that the floors rotted. We couldn't sell it like that. And we couldn't sell it because we had to disclose that the plumbing. We'd have to sell that house for pennies on a dollar. And then what was going to do? And I still thought we could get to 320, but couldn't. And so that's Woodcliff. So watch the video, process it. I am going to be at I'm going to be at Woodcliff. Actually, it's going to be Woodcliff, behind Woodcliff. I'm going to be there all week. I'm going to do some lives. I'm going to do some Q&A there. I'm going to have you meet our builders. We're going to talk to the contractors. I'm going to be a lot better at bringing people on board, because I'm going to get this shit back. Because it's like, got a house, plan on putting 2 houses on it. I'm trying to get the lot next door. I'm like, maybe I could finagle that. But we got the other projects and stuff like that, like you can corral that and throw everybody on there, so maybe we can be in multiple houses at one time. And I just kind of like, I had to figure out a way to kind of set something up. So so I got all these projects that stopped, so I could figure out Woodcliff. Realized Woodcliff didn't produce, so now I got the lot. So now Teal is going to kind of carry that weight for the lot. So I got to make that work for the lot. And the homeowner, the owner, our partner, I'm going to have him on call so you can kind of hear his journey. We can kind of talk about that a little bit more. I'm going to make it way more of a team. It can't just be me, because I was completely overwhelmed and I backed up, right, to try to move forward. So with that, I'm going to post this, hope you guys look at it. Contact me. Like I said, I'm going to contact everyone. Everyone can kind of have this access to this, and then just meet me at the lot.